Well, hello, and good morning. I should probably check if this is working right real quick. Yep, there we go. Working alright. So, you may notice this is a little bit of a different format yet again. I figure this will actually be the easier way to, well, easier and hopefully more visually decent way to do this whole post commentary kind of thing. Now, yeah, so basically, if you're wondering, the idea is to try and kind of get a whole bunch of these going at one time. Essentially trying to kind of give updates and community stuff, whatever, while kind of blazing through, 4 or 5 of these relatively uneventful ones in a row. So yeah, like early on here, there's going to be a few little tricky bits, but, by and large, it's going to be relatively casual, all things considered. So, going to be starting off with Conjugate. Dang, there's some interesting loudness going on in the background. I apologize for that, because this is like the 6th something time I'm doing this, and it seems like every time I start discussing stuff, everyone decides like, oh yeah, it's time to join in the party. So, that. But yeah, no, they're just kind of like off playing with Legos over there, and they're like, oh man, we gotta yell at these things. All right, anyway, so back on track here. But, so one thing that a lot of people have asked for, and is actually in progress and actually a good bit of the way done now, is a guide for One Vision. This is something that's it's been requested for a few months now, actually. It took me kind of a while to get started on it. But yeah, so it's going to be what I hope to be a pretty comprehensive list of just all the changes, what all of them mean, how stuff used to be. There's even going to be an entire section for folks with nostalgia goggles, because there's a lot of that. A lot of folks like, oh yeah, the original was perfectly balanced, everything was great, how does anybody go and mess up that masterpiece? It's like, no. Dude, go back and play it. Their friggin' like, post-game is impossible. It's like, what even happened there? But anyway. So yeah, it's going to be attempting to cover all of that. It's going to be offering some strategies and some fun bits, and hopefully it'll be pretty amusing if nothing else. Tried to keep it as lighthearted as possible. But anyway, so I'll include a link to that when this is done. I think it's so far it's going pretty alright, so taking feedback on any of it. If there's any part you want to see covered, if there's anything you feel could have been covered better, if you see any mistakes in it, it's basically being updated every. And I'm kind of putting aside a little bit of time between work stuff to go and update it to try and make sure that it's all accurate and correct. So if you're wondering what's going on in the map here, basically this is the point where I noticed I forgot to put a bow on Notice. Usually this is... actually, I didn't forget to put a bow on him. I actually went for a heavy axe build on him. Basically the idea is usually I have him just fly around the right side of the map, go and corner Mr. Magic-y Magic guy over there. Interestingly enough, I noticed a weird quirk to his AI, and I'm not sure if this is, some... I'm assuming he's on the caster AI set, but I noticed he won't actually recover unless he's in his happy little corner. So if he's damaged, he'll run back to his corner and he'll recover. Otherwise, he actually won't do that. He'll actually just continue fighting if he's cornered on the stairs. So anyway, just something that may be potentially useful. Oh jeez. Another tiny cat, you have got balls today. Yeah, it's interesting. One of the dogs that we were training for the service dog program, one of them ended up coming back. So, well, technically 2 did, but anyway. So, yeah, got this dopey blockhead back. It's awesome. It's funny because he was actually doing his job for a full year, and apparently just like picked up some bad habits along that year or something like that. But yeah, so we're retraining him and all that. But it's good to have him back. But we have this tiny little kitten here, and dopey little bastard can't seem to understand the lesson that the big cat learned, which is just like, yeah, stand your ground against this giant dog. He doesn't know that you're tiny and frail and everything. He just thinks, ooh, look, fuzzy thing, it's running away. If you run, he will chase you. So, there's this dog that's like half the size of a couch. And every single time he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get scared, and then just runs off. And then a massive behemoth goes after him. It's funny because he's sitting right behind me, and this little kitten is just hopping on my lap. Like, yeah, yeah. Today I'm ignoring the obvious fact that that giant thing's there. But yeah, he's a little suck-up cat. What can you do? All right, back on track though. So with that guide, like I said, all feedback is acceptable. There's like if you think some part of it sucks, tell me. If you think some part's good, I appreciate it. If by the way, right here, Nib is completely screwed. This was basically the checkmate moment right there. I wasn't sure if I could get Mr. Soldier Guy up on those stairs, and yeah, as soon as he decided to only take a one-step thing, that was the end. Even though he ends up taking out Canopus here, it's not even an issue. Put on Hapongo to give him a little bit more durability, but yeah, it's already over by this point. So yeah, as far as sections that are done so far, stats and stuff like that are covered, equipment generally has been covered. I'll be going into specifics and uniques and all that sort of thing down the line. It's, you know, for the moment, I figure he's going to be working on a whole bunch of new stuff, so I'll save that for later. And most of the classes have been done, basically the generic ones. So all of the uniques and stuff like that. So, well, uniques and unusual ones. That would be all your beast classes, all of your like lizard kind of stuff, lizard exclusive kind of stuff. That's coming later. And the fun builds section is kind of a work in progress. By the way, it was that crit right there that allowed Canopus to get taken out this fight. He got really unlucky. He's got sidestep, he's already got really high evasion. But nope. Gonna just fire an arrow straight through all of that. Welcome to friggin' ye old medieval XCOM over here. Yeah, even if they've got a 3% chance to hit, they always hit. Such is life. So, Nebith flies away. It's the first of, I want to say it's going to be 3 fights? Wait. Which route? I think I ended up going Chaos for this one. I forget if I was going Neutral or Chaos, but we'll find out. But yeah. If we end up going Chaos, then we'll try to pick up Cressida, because that's a question that a few people have had. And otherwise we'll be showing off Neutral again, because I really, really like Neutral, and people are always seemingly surprised by the stuff that changes in Neutral, and somehow every single time the run goes completely wrong, so I don't end up getting to show a lot of that stuff, so we'll get to it, Oh, now I remember what happened. I wanted to upgrade Canopus to the second battle, or the second axe there, but didn't exactly have 2 of them, I want to say. I don't know. Originally I had actually cut this out, and then I did a whole other commentary thing. Delicious coffee. But yeah, so I'd done this whole other thing, and that is when I found out the problem that was causing all of that low volume crap that was going on for a while. So apparently, when it comes to when it comes to Windows Movie Maker or whatever else, it apparently loves to drop volume like crazy. Apparently, there was even some guy that was posting that he apparently went in and almost ended up getting himself expelled out of school because his project came out almost entirely muted. Well, not expelled, but failed out of his university or whatever. It's alright. This right here is where I was experimenting with another build that I was kind of curious about. Just what happens when we make Axemaster Canopus. So he's got axes, he's got sidearms, so he's basically got axes and throwing axes. He's really excited about those axes. Like Master Lumberjack or something, I don't know. But it ended up working out pretty well. Like, I was curious whether the relative bulk of those things would cause him to be really slow, but his speed generally overcomes it. And then I went back and tested it on my other run, and tested it out on Tammuz, and that ended up working out pretty fantastic as well. So if you're unfamiliar with who the hell Tammuz is, I'm assuming I've mentioned that guy enough times that folks might know who he is, but hey, I've noticed there were a few new folks lately, so basically there was, I always refer to them as the Neutral Trio. They were 3 pretty generic and kind of pointless characters in Neutral before, with cool backstories. Like, for example, one of them, Moose, was originally just a knight you found laying unconscious when you were going through the Neutral route. Oh no, what are we whining about over there now? Literally nothing. Sitting there crying because one of them has a Lego and the other one doesn't. Gotta love those. Gotta love those. Any day, anyways. So it was just this guy that was laying unconscious. And yeah, so go over there, save him, and he had this really cool backstory of like, oh yeah, this guy just always seems to wind up in losing battles all the time, and is just always miraculously surviving when he has no chance to, and all that kind of thing. Basically, if you played Armored Core, he's pretty much Karam. But anyhow, so, you know, Deathless Knight, as I always like to refer to him, because he had a cool story, but there was really nothing else going on there. So there he was, just kind of chilling, doing his thing. But then they all got updated. They all became unique. So you got Tammuz, Festa, and Chamos? I think it was Chamos. Basically, Chamos is the thug wizard. He's just a guy that looks like a beastmaster that's a wizard. So he apparently Rakes was going for a kind of Witcher type of look with that one. Oh, actually, never went to go check the news. Apparently, the writer for the original Witcher books was suing the people who made the games for more money. Huh. Hopefully that winds up okay. I like that series. I haven't played it that much, but I just like that it exists. Anyways, so you got him. You got Festa, who just basically who looks like just a rune fencer. She just has a unique sprite as a rune fencer, and she actually shows up in the story once. She just shows up as somebody who basically falls down on a douchebag and like, oh yeah, just a horrible traitor, which is hilarious because literally the entire situation is just like, oh yeah, this guy betrayed us. Yeah, and we also asked him to betray us too. He just betrayed us in a different way than betraying us. He double betrayed us somehow. But anyways, so at this point I was looking around because I wanted to recruit one of these birds. Because one of the updates recently, if you haven't seen it, is that all characters now have some manner of recruitability on them. So if you end up getting like a warrior, for example, you no longer have to get knights in order to recruit. They just learn at the same level. Oh, you know what? I will have to right back. Just one moment. Gotta go correct something real fast. But just give me a quick little pause here. Alrighty, and I'm back. Let's see, is it functioning? Dang right it is. Alright, where's my buttons? Buttons, come back to me. There we go. So, alright, what was I getting at? So, neutral trio, right? So, yeah, Festa, unique, rune fencer and all that. Well, Spellblade now. I keep wanting to call them fencers. I don't know, there's just something cool about the term fencer. Actually, there was this one kind of throwaway character in FFT that was just always my favorite because I wanted to know why is his name Fencer, and it literally was just swordsman. They just didn't know how to translate that, so they just called him Fencer. And he was in the first Slums fight, the one that you probably redid 50 friggin' times in your first go around. I love how people compare TO and FFT, and they're like, oh yeah, FFT was so amazingly balanced and brilliant and everything else. No, it wasn't. It's not even close. Anyhow. Nostalgia goggles are real. So, okay, so what was I going on? Oh yeah, so Tammuz, if you've played the originals, he's a Raven Man. Pretty much just an upgraded bird person. But yeah, he's the only, aside from when you get Angel Knights, friggin' way post game, that's He's the only flying heavy unit. So he's unique in that, so it's worth doing neutral just to pick up him. Oh, and by the way, made a mistake here in that I was having Mr. Field down run around smacking stuff with a shield instead of actually using his weapon. Oh well, still a reasonable amount of damage, all things considered. Actually, speaking of weird amounts of damage, so recently was doing my usual of comparing both versions, and yeah, that had gotten to the point where, let's see, my OV run was about the 23 range. I was trying to get them up to the 28 range, give or take. And I'm just referring to it as level because I was going through and testing what kind of stuff spawns when, stuff popping up correctly, because I was theorizing for a little bit that in one of my runs it seemed like stuff wasn't spawning in right, but turns out I was wrong on that. Anyway, so that one's around 23-ish, and yeah, I had gone through and was doing the vanilla one, and that one was getting around the 26 to 28 mark. And yeah, that's the point at which stuff has already started breaking down in some pretty serious ways there. But specifically, I was trying to do the same way that I love to play on both versions, which is just trying my best to get at least most of the characters or most of the classes in there. That nice feeling of going and like everybody can use a thing and everybody's got their stuff, and let's just say, color me disappointed on the kind of stuff that started happening. And I don't know why I always expect this to be different. It's that same kind of unique nostalgia goggles thing that the vanilla version of TO has. There's just always this feeling that it was somehow, I don't know, way better than it actually was. Like, the way that OV actually is. Like, there's constantly this feeling that it was just like that originally. And, really isn't. So yeah, I was going through all that whole thing. And, yeah, once again, still having him run around smacking things with a shield for some reason. So yeah. I've gotten to this moment where I have this random Beastmaster guy. I have two birds, two bird people. And yeah, one of them is just going around with an axe and a lobber. He's just the item guy. I actually hadn't noticed that he had an axe upgrade for a good long time, so I ate a ball brigand. Never ended up actually giving it to him. I should clarify that during this run I'm doing just complete Iron Man run-ins on both of them. So, for the sake of testing, if there's a complete party wipe, I'll keep going. But if somebody's gone, they're gone. But yeah, any bad rolls, including crafting ones, have to be kept. And yeah, so it's a 2-hour drive. I know I'm going all over the place here, but taking a step back here, taking a 2-hour drive to pick up this dog I was talking about. And my wife prefers driving, so let her do that. I say let. There's no choice. If my wife wants to do something, she does it. She's the boss. I'm completely okay with this. Anyway, so so we're driving, and of this 2 hours, 45 minutes is, well, let's see, 30 minutes is spent just getting frickin' like wood spars to upgrade things. The rest of it is spent, trying to figure out where the hell everything is in the menu. Then just going and buying stuff back and forth, just like going back, buy inferior ore, go back, get iron, get graphite, get steel, get silver, get boulder, get once, over and over and over and over and over, and oh my god, what were they thinking with that system? So yeah, over and over and over, it just like, it was an endless friggin' thing. And yeah, utterly mindless. And then I get to the very end, it's like, ooh, 46% chance. Hope it wasn't a complete failure. Like, yeah, you better not. Honestly, if this thing wasn't expensive, it would be going out the window. Not that it would end up punishing the game any. It'd still have that crappy crafting system. But yeah, so thank FF11 for that one. If you were... I'm pretty sure everyone knows at this point. I actually thought it was supposed to be copied from Monster Hunter, because specifically the craftable consumables and stuff like that were very much a thing in Monster Hunter. But it should clarify them. Should be clarified in both of these cases. There was essentially a reason for them to be there. Without 11, obviously it's an MMO. They want to keep resources scarce. So there's, there's that. There's the fact that you can't reload a save. There's the fact that they need to manage an economy. That's why it's there. You have Monster Hunter and things like that, same thing. They're trying to manage an economy. It's supposed to be all about getting and, risking rare resources for different things. It's annoying, but it's there for a reason. The entire thing is about collecting those resources. And in TO, there's really... you can go back and get those things at any time. It's just tedious to do it. So anyway, that was the annoying part. But yeah, so I get to about the point of San Bronza, and I started going through it. I say about the point; it is exactly San Bronza. So I started going through it, and yeah, one of these generic beastmen, birdmen, they were always doing like 30 to 50. They were the whip guy. Then one guy with an axe, one guy with a whip. Whip guy, always disappointing. Had like the only one I could get for the longest time was the spiked Laurel +1 or whatever. So yeah, over and over, he's getting himself knocked out, killed off, whatever else. He's down to his last life. They're both down to their last life. It's just item guy had a bit more survivability. Both times that he ended up losing a life, it was simply because the party was overwhelmed by one thing or another. But yeah. So, by the way, if you're asking, well, how are you possibly getting overwhelmed? What about all those overpowered characters? I was trying to limit myself to like 1 or 2 of them per party. Because to give an idea of how ridiculous it was, there was one character that was around from the very beginning. Training is all kinds of sword classes and whatever else. They get the ice blade on there. Like, oh yeah, I can do 50! Ozma comes around, does 375. The exact same thing. No training, no anything. She's just... oh yeah, and that's just with one of them. And she's got 2. So, yeah, that's... bravo, great balance. 10 out of 10. No problems whatsoever. But anyway, so this one guy, doing like 30 to 50 the whole time, and something about all of the weird upgrades that he got, because I just shifted him around to the whatever leftovers were left over, and had hired some guy that had a holy comet. And it stat-wise was like 50 attack score, I think, something like that. Goes up. It doesn't seem like it would be doing that much more. He goes from 50 to doing 200 plus with just the one upgrade. What happened? What happened here? And yeah, according to Races, like that, he managed to just meet some exact hidden threshold or something for like background stats going up. So he pretty much became top tier out of nowhere. But anyway, it's weird. It's just the original's balance is so jank by that point. I know it's it's probably because they never got around to testing it, but dang, that's what happens when you ballpark everything. Though to be fair, I don't think they had testers that were willing to put in hundreds of hours to keep going all the way up to that point. Not to mention, some of them probably ended up carrying... it's probably similar to how OV goes. Because if you end up looking at the trailers, even by the time that they were putting the final trailers together, there were clearly units that had abilities that they shouldn't have. And some of the animations were different and stuff like that. Like, one of them specifically shows a cleric but using some abilities similar to the orbs. It wasn't exactly that, and you could tell from the animation that they were actually using it as an ability. They weren't like chucking an orb or something like that. So I don't know what happened there, but I guess such is life. Anyway, so that fight, yeah, there's nothing terribly amazing about that fight. You just go down the hill like a dang landslide and potentially lose it. What went wrong? Alright. Moving on, though. What else here? Man. I just can't believe it about that whip guy. Like, I expected him to get killed off. Like, everything about that vanilla run was just a constant mess of just everything going wrong because the best characters suddenly weren't available. For example, when Vice ended up going down several times and he ended up getting killed off, actually Cashua got killed off in that run too. Yeah, same rule set where you can't retreat, by the way. So yeah, every time they got overwhelmed, it was usually just a bunch of injuries and everything goes wrong. So when Vice got lost, a bunch of characters ended up immediately getting wiped off as soon as what's it? Oh, I guess loss of Casual wasn't too big of a thing in that one because she was mostly just a healer. What else? Oh, there was one particular that was kind of iffy. Oh, I was actually super disappointed because one of my little pet projects in that run was to try to make a Terror Knight that didn't suck. As in doing so from before the point you can get the Ogre set. Actually, I think that's probably one of my favorite bits of advice that people give. Where you're going, when I was going through different guides and stuff like that. So I was doing the One Vision guide. And I was, revisiting some old guides from back in the day, see what kinds of stuff people suggested, and I think my favorite one was like, oh yeah, you can make Terror Knights really good. Just get them the entire Ogre set. Yeah. All right. That'll just take like a day or two, I guess. We'll just go like friggin' drop grinds the like 2 biggest bosses in the game, I guess, and then go proceed and try to get good drops on all of them too. Just perfectly reasonable. Yeah, just that's definitely the kinds of stuff that you need to make a basic class not suck. That's always great. And there's one guy who's like, oh yeah, you just gotta go through and you gotta give them like a billion friggin' animal meats and stuff like that. And you gotta go recruit like 50, not hydras. No, not hydras. That's still dragon meat. No, it wasn't the braised skewer. It was the octopi. Just needed to go get a bunch of octopi for him. Because it's seafood. It's brain food. So that was nice. It was, an interesting one. Just goes... Every possible answer to making the TK not suck was just like, go spend dozens of hours in some really asinine manner that'll make anybody else 10 times better. Or just make this basic class suck less. I don't know what they were thinking with that one, but I'm glad that they're good now. That's all I have to say left on that matter. There was one thing I was meaning to mention that I don't know what it is now. Friggin' no! What am I forgetting? Alright. I don't know. Oh yeah, so, Berserks, right? So I have to say, friggin' two-hand... I know I've said this before, but it's Berserks with the two-hander options now. Just amazing. As you saw in the last fight, I actually failed to point it out there, but there will be a few moments in this one where just that one guy up in the top there ends up turning around this entire thing. It was never really in danger of being lost, to be fair, but just they keep lining up and forming up lines, and if you make one that has, I believe they can even use scout leggings, now that I think about it. If you make one that has some decent jumping ability and has the reason to go around, or has the ability to go around stuff, it's disgustingly good. Actually, I was testing around with a warp ring on one of them, and then if you just do like a warp ring one turn and then berserk into a back line and then just like attack it from behind, it's ridiculously good. Which, to be fair, I guess it can also be used with the other options. You might get a chance of a stun or something like that, but at the same time, it's so much more accurate. So it depends on what you're looking for. Personally, I just like the severe accuracy that they get. Which again, I realize is a little bit of an odd duck, given that I'm going and supporting everybody with Spell Blade, so they've got 100% accuracy anyway. Actually, I've got 3 of them, so they're basically going and popping up those buffs to completely wipe things out anyhow. Maybe I don't need the 2H on him. But I like having the option of that accuracy, Yeah, Canopus's accuracy with those throwing axes is kind of garbage, I'm not gonna lie, but Given his tendency to be behind stuff, it at least gives him some heavier options down the road. Now, why exactly is this stuck? And my computer that's frozen? It is indeed my computer that's frozen. Well, that's a downer. Anyway, this was actually the last, oh. No, we're still getting a little bit of jank. What's going on with that? No, I'm not really sure what's going on with it. It's, definitely an odd situation. But if it doesn't go back to normal in a couple seconds here, I'm probably just going to go ahead and call it. Because all things considered, the rest of it is just going up this hill. That's kind of the end of it. And looks like that's what we're going to be doing. So, alright. I will see you next time then. Sorry for the weird ending. And, yeah. Oh, wait. Ah. One can dream. One can dream. Alright, whatever. See you next time then.